right. Thank you, everybody who's joining us and tuning in. For those of you who are tuning in, thank you for supporting the LFA and supporting Shady Sports Network. We are joined tonight by a breakout star from week one in the LFA, Tim Whitfield, who's been on the show before when he was an IFL player, but now we get to speak to him after his first professional game outdoors. Tim, how you doing, man?
Good, my man. How about you?
I definitely cannot complain. I appreciate you coming on again. It's been a little while, though. I believe last time we talked was right after the 22 season when you were with the Green Bay Blizzard. A lot has changed since then. So, let's go ahead and dive right into it. Last season you spent with the Duke City Gladiators. What was your time with the Gladiators like?
The Gladiators, it was fun and everything. Great organization to play for, great coaches, great teammates. Can't really complain about nothing. Uh, didn't expect what we wanted to expect at the end of the season, but at the end of the day, it's just a fun experience.
Absolutely. So speaking of last season, you were kind of given the chance to start and be the bell cow back for the Gladiators offense, and you kind of really carried the load for a while. Despite the fact that you only really played in 10 games, you finished 10th in the rushing yards for running back position, and you found the end zone 12 times. How did you ultimately feel about your performance in 2023?
I felt it was good, man. I felt I could have done more, but whenever my name was called, I answered it, and I can only control what I can control.
Absolutely. I think that's a great mindset. And I think you did great. Obviously, you scored 12 touchdowns in only 10 games. And you were effective on both the passing game and the running game. So, that's also been on display this season already. But looking back on 2023, there was one game that kind of stuck out to me, your 3-touchdown performance against Vegas back in June. When you look back on games like that or the game you had last week, do you kind of feel a big game coming, or is it a situation where you go into the game with the same mindset and whatever happens happens?
I just go with the mindset of just controlling what you can control. Whenever your name is called, you answer the call. Um, if the big moments come, it comes on its own. I just go in there with a peaceful, chill mindset and just let it go with the flow.
Absolutely. So looking forward to the 2024 season, what did free agency look like for you after the IFL year ended?
So the 2024 offseason, after it ended, I was immediately called upon with a team here called Mexicas by Coach Felix and etc. I had a guy that helped me out. His name was Dwayne Dorsey. Shout out to him. And but other than that, that's what I was expecting to do this coming up season. Come down here in Mexico and get on the road with Mexicas.
Very interesting. So, out of curiosity, did any IFL teams try to lure you back to the indoor football league, or did they pretty much know that once you got this offer, you were going outdoors and there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it?
Yeah, I had a few teams that hit me up. I had Tulsa. I was talking with Duke City wanted me back. San Diego, uh, and a few other teams. But once I got this call and everything, I think it was the best decision to come out here and go back to outdoors and see what the indoor brought upon to my game and see what it did, how it upgraded it and everything. And I see that did it did justify it.
Absolutely. So, let's kind of touch on that a little bit. How do you feel the indoor game has kind of helped your game overall?
I say my helping wise, I say that it definitely upgraded my blocking scheme. I've always been a good blocker, but playing indoor, I say that it's mainly more focused on with running backs is that you have to block and because it's more of a passing league. So definitely blocking, catching as well can get you can always get better at something, but I say the main trigger point was blocking.
Absolutely. So, So how and when did this offer come about with the Mexicas, and what was your initial thought process? I mean, you kind of touched on it a little bit ago. They called you right after the season, but had they been contacting you before? Had they had interest last off season, or how did this all come about?
How this came about was it started. It was like in November, so it wasn't really like an immediate call, but it was just like, hey, we got a rookie mini camp coming up. Uh, like I said, my guy Dwayne Dorsey, he helped me out to get that call, and he talked with the coaches, and the coaches reached out to me as soon as possible, and they told me we got something coming up, little rookie mini camp. Showed my skill sets and everything there, and then you know signed the contract and sealed the deal with them right there.
Very nice. When did that rookie minicamp take place?
It started in December 8th, so it was a 2 weeks process.
Oh wow! So it was basically right after the IFL season ended.
And it was fun and everything. Had a great experience and everything. They showed us around what we're going to be like, how our area is and stuff. Got a feel for Mexico City. Just great experience all well around.
Absolutely. So have you been out there since December, or did you come back and then fly back out for camp?
Yeah, I was only here for 2 weeks and flew back home, spent Christmas time with everybody, and then came back here on January 28th, and then just been here ever since.
Very nice, very nice. So I'm kind of curious. I mean, as an American that is now kind of living in Mexico, what does that process take? I mean, is there anything you have to do specifically, or is it just kind of like you're on a long-term vacation?
You can say long-term vacation, but at the end of the day, it's still a business trip. The process of here being an American is a little different. Of course, main dominant language is Spanish, so we have to learn Spanish as fast as we can, and still trying to learn a little bit and everything. But I say that the food and everything is here is amazing. Everything is organic. We know how everything is in the states compared to most places out in the other countries, but it's a well experience of being here and everything. So I can't complain.
Very nice, very nice. So let's kind of touch on the language a little bit. I mean, are your coaches bilingual? Are they coaching in English, or are they primarily coaching in Spanish, and you kind of have to translate as you go?
Most of them are bilingual. I don't know about the defensive coaches. Some of them are a little bit bilingual, but our offensive staff is very bilingual. They can talk English just as well, but primarily it's Spanish. We have to pick up a little bit of the plays when they call it because it's mainly in their language and everything. So it's more meet in the middle with these coaches.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So talk to me about the level of coaching you've received this season. How does it compare to teams you've been on in the past?
Say that again.
I probably should because I stumbled all over it. But so talk to me about the level of coaching you've received while you're there. I mean, how does it compare to teams you've been on in the past?
With the level of experience here, it's a little different. They do football a little different down here compared to what we do. It's a little bit backstage, not really up tempo to what we're used to. But these guys are trying their best to be the best that they can be, and we help them out to help them be the best that they can be, while they trying to help us out as well to adjust to this style playing that they do down here and play calling and everything. But I say that they're doing a fantastic job.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, in the play calling situation, how much pull do the players have with the offensive coordinator and the offensive play calls?
I would say the pool, it's not so much. I mean, it's just very, very simple. Like, one little simple play calling. It's not very expand of a big play like calling as what we do in the U.S. Like from a formation to the O line play calling to the position calling. It's just one word, and then that's it. And You just have to know what you're doing. But we also, with the players, communicating with the coaches down here on telling them what could work and how this could work. They fully listen to us. They take within what we say, and we throw it out there on the field. And if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. But they love to hear what we tell them, what we think.
All right. Well, then I have to ask, whose idea was it to put in your Wildcat touchdown call? Did you catch that? Nope. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you okay. Can you hear me okay now? For the record, this is pre-recorded, so we're not live or anything. I'm going to edit this, so we're good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So I wanted to ask, I mean, how much input and into that Wildcat touchdown did you have? I mean, was that something you were campaigning for, or was it something the coaches put in the book?
Oh, that's something that the coaches put in. They just say, hey, you're going to run Wildcat. And, I've done it before previously in college. I've done it before in high school. So it's very, very, I'm used to it and everything. And I know what to do when it comes to it.
Absolutely. So it's safe to say that you were pretty ready when the play call came in. There was no sort of anxiety or nervousness about it. And speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and play the highlight real quick. So
Nah, it was no type of nervous.
absolutely, it just boom, jump right over the dude. I love it. That was so awesome to watch real time. And then we'll pull up your next touchdown here in a second. But ultimately, this performance by you in week one was kind of, I want to say your coming out party. But for anybody who watched you last season, you had multiple games where you kind of put the world on notice, for lack of a better term. But this game, I feel like it really all came together for you. You ended up having 150 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, talk to me about how you feel about the overall game after a performance like that. When I mean, you've been working really hard to get up to this point, and here it is, week one, finally upon you, and you just come out and dominate immediately.
I'll say on how I feel overall about it. I mean, just once and for the most. Shout out to the O linemen. Shout out to the receivers for doing a hell of a blocking job and everything. It's it's just all hard work, all the work that we've been putting into for training camp and everything. Verbally communicating and just taking all in of being coachable and everything from the O line position to on the way down to the skill position. So everyone played a big role into that. Just couldn't think anybody else anymore. But I can just say that it's just been a lot of hard work that I've been putting into in the off season, and now just coming out into the light. So that's all I got.
I love that. And I'm glad you mentioned the offensive line, because I feel like you would agree with me when I say that they played a rather large part in your second touchdown. It looked like on this play, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it looked like on this play, you knew as soon as you ran through the hole, you were going for the end zone. We'll go ahead and
Yeah,
pull up
without
that
a doubt.
highlight, because
Mhm.
boom, right there. You put up your hand like you're running the end zone. I loved that.
Yeah, I knew exactly that it was. I was going on that play. Just thinking the man upstairs on allowing me to have a great, healthy game, and just letting success come out at the end of the road of it.
I love that mentality. You're so humble. You're dishing credit to your offensive linemen and your wide receivers that were blocking for you. Just a true team player. And I think that's exactly why you're finding success, because you're the type of player that players want to succeed next to, because you're just a good person. Ultimately, not to insert my opinion of you too much there, but I mean, it comes through on camera when you speak to you. You're just a guy where, to me, it seems like even if somebody tried to give you the credit, you wouldn't entirely take it. You're just that type of guy.
No,
But I
not
wanted
at
to
all.
ask. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, no, not at all. I'm just I learned from where I come from, my parenting household. Just remain humble, and everything comes your way. Good things come to you when you remain humble and everything, and also just by watching great running backs who carry that humble mindset, like Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, just learning from the greats and stuff like that. I just take whatever they learn from, I just bring that into me, and then I just put that all out there on the field.
Very nice. So are those two guys that you love to watch? I mean, who else is on that list for you?
I would say, of course, it's Barry Sanders. A lot of people don't realize, but you got to be intelligent and smart about the game. I watch a few Marshall Falk, like watching Christian McCaffrey, Ezekiel Elliott, just a lot of great downhill runners, that don't have to do so much shifting and shafting. It's just get the job done and, you know, come out healthy and just be victorious.
Absolutely. So I'm kind of curious, how has the fan reaction been down there so far? I mean, from the outside looking in, it feels like you guys have really good attendance at all of these games across the board, throughout the league. So I mean, are these guys out there buying Tim Whitfield jerseys and kind of begging you for autographs, or how does that all work out there?
It's been an amazing honor just feeling this. I mean, just experiencing that, just hearing little kids saying that you're their hero. Because I had one little kid tell me yesterday that, hey, I'm a running back. I watched you play. You're my hero. I look up to you. I want to come watch you play. And he said he is going to come to the game tomorrow. But also giving out autographs and stuff like that after the game. It was just a wonderful experience. I mean, I've done that previously and from high school and on up, but just seeing kids and everything smiling because they came out to watch you play and see you because they pay for all of that. I want to give them for what their money is worth and everything. So just doing all of that, it just puts a smile on my face as well.
Well, for what it's worth, you definitely put on a show this past weekend, and I'm sure another show is in store for week 2 when you go up against the Gallo Negros. Talk to me about this game. I mean, what did you see on film so far? Have you had a chance to break down their game?
Yeah, absolutely. We broke down a film. Wasn't very too much to break down on. We know what they're capable of, and we know that they're coming down to our place. They're undefeated. We're undefeated, so they're playing with a chip on their shoulder because we're number one. So we're always going to have that target on our back. But at the end of the day, we're playing with a chip on our shoulder as well from previous season, what the Mexicas had last season, and we're not going to roll out like that this season. So once again, we're playing with a chip on our shoulder, and we're going to give everything that we got as well. We ain't scared, just like they ain't scared, but we're going to see who's going to come out victorious this game.
Absolutely. So going forward, what's your ultimate goal for the season for yourself and for your team?
Goal, of course, is to win a championship. For myself, is just to be a better player, a better teammate after each game. Um, that's all I can ask for. It's nothing too shabby. I'm all about the team first and everything. But once my name is called, it's just I'm gonna answer the phone call, like I said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Tim, I got to be honest with you, man. That's all I've got for you this time. But I can't wait for our next conversation. I have a feeling many, many big games are in store this season. And ultimately, we'll have to definitely touch base again this year. If not, soon, maybe after the year, once we get to kind of look back and see the whole season as a whole. Because I have a feeling, like I said, great things are in store for you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on the show again, and it's wonderful talking with you, and looking forward to having many more conversations with you.
Oh, definitely. We got many more in store. Before you get out of here, is there anybody you want to shout out or kind of, say some words to or anything like that?
Just shout out to my family back at home. Thank God for this wonderful experience. Couldn't ask for a very so shout out to God first and foremost, and just
Oh, you broke up there a little bit. You might want to repeat that just so your family can actually hear.
oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Did you catch that? Yeah, I can hear you now. If you want to go ahead and redo
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I can. I just saying, uh, shout out to God for allowing me to experience this wonderful uh, experience down here in Mexico. Also, shout out to my family and friends. Much love to you guys. Thank you for all the support and salute.
Perfect. It held up great that time. Well, Tim, it's been an experience as always. I really appreciate your time. Like I said, I'm super excited to see what you're able to do tomorrow. And then when this airs Wednesday night after our episode of Spring Showcase, the third episode, by the way, definitely look forward to looking back on this and seeing exactly what comes from this weekend's game. I know you got a big matchup coming up, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So I wish you best of luck. And again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man.